Hey, Danny.
Hi, Zach. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's good to see you. It's been a minute.
It has been. It has been.
It's
It's been a
been it's
whirlwind.
it's been a good minute. I hope so for you.
Yeah.
First and foremost, congrats on night one. It was a blast to watch. I really had so much fun watching the episode with all the entrances. There were a lot of standouts for me, but did you have a favorite night one entrance?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been saying this every time. I loved Henry the pig. I was a bit I was like, yes, I love a pig.
That was a really fun one. Yeah, there were so many fun gimmicks and tricks, but like also some like really good moments right at the limo entrances. Like some sparks were flying. I know you said to Jesse right after the limo entrances, before you even went inside, that your gut was telling you that you could have met your wife in that moment. What was it about the limo entrances that kind of gave you that gut feeling?
It's hard to like pinpoint like how the like at least my gut like gave me that feeling, but what I felt was, initially your mind's going 1,000 miles an hour. Like, is this going to work for me? Am I going to, find my best friend? Is everyone taking this seriously, or how is this going to work? And after actually just seeing everyone and having that brief, a few minutes with each of them, something was just telling me inside, I'm like, wow, like all these women are incredible. Like this is like, I'm so fortunate and lucky to even be here. And like, I don't have any doubt that someone really special is here for me. It's weird. And I can't have an exact moment. I don't think there was. It was just an overall feeling.
That's cool that your intuition was that in tune with itself so early on.
Yeah,
Do you think it was helpful for you having former bachelors like Jesse Palmer, and we saw Sean Lowe as well, in the promo there by your side? Sean even mentioned, I believe, on Bachelor Happy Hour that you guys FaceTimed a few times throughout the season. Like, was that a helpful relationship for you to have mentors like that?
absolutely. For myself, like I didn't want to come in with like any like real rules or like a playbook or anything like that. Like just experiencing it like fully, and having their advice did play a big role though, because it was their advice and support mainly, with Jesse throughout it. Like Jesse and I, great friends. Whenever I wanted to just like bounce any ideas off of him, he was always there, and supported me through it all. And with Sean, you know, he cracks me up like no other. The guy is like, I don't think a lot of people know, but he is hysterical. And he just made me feel more comfortable and confident going into the whole thing, because uh, you can't help but have your mind race and you're like, oh, am I good enough? Can I handle this? But he was there and supported me. And he's like, dude, you got this. Like, it's going to be one hell of a time. Love it. Embrace it. Be yourself. Don't try to be who, others want you to be. Just be the Zach that you've always been. And that was what I needed to hear going into it. So both Sean and Jesse absolutely helped me a ton.
That's a really good piece of advice from Sean. Was there another piece of advice that either one of them gave you that really stuck out, or was that the main one?
Another one, a piece of, I don't remember who said it. It was either Jesse or Sean, but it was really like, hey, like stay away from, the opinions and the comments. It's like, because it really doesn't matter at the end. Like if this whole thing works out for you, like that's all that matters. That person, everyone's gonna have an opinion. Everyone's gonna have a good or a bad one. Doesn't matter, but it's best to just avoid it because it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, that is really good advice to not read the comments or anything like that. Did you receive any advice or connect with any other former bachelor or bachelorettes?
So I did, after everything, after filming, I did meet Clayton for the first time, and him and I had a really good conversation for a long time. And he's just offered his support for me, and is gonna offer any advice if I need it. But he's just more of someone that's in my corner, and if I ever need help, to ask him.
Yeah, Clayton's a great guy. So that's a
He really
good
is a
person.
nice guy.
He's like really just a top quality good person. So it's a nice
We could have
person.
talked for hours too, and he was on a road trip actually when I talked to him. So we talked for like an hour and a half, and it was.
Oh, really? That's awesome. Jesse did say that your season is the most emotional one he's hosted so far, hands down, and that goodbyes in particular were really tough for you. Is there like any emotional a moment that you can tease from this season, or like kind of why those really stood out, you think, to Jesse?
Well, I guess, with the goodbyes were probably the hardest part of it all. Part of it comes from the fact of like, I know like what it takes to be in that position and, leave everything behind and be vulnerable. And sometimes it doesn't work and you go home and like that hurts, like that pain of being told like no. And, you know, I hated having that feeling of giving that to someone or telling someone no, and seeing the pain, and that made it like that made the pain like double on me, and I felt so like it was just so tough to go through. But in regards to any teases, it's after some point in the season when the relationships really do progress, all the ceremonies are really tough.
Yeah, I can imagine. Was there something that you took from your experience with Rachel going into being the lead that you kind of like took a piece of what you learned from that and applied it to your own experience?
Absolutely. I think the most important thing by far, and it's like not even for solely this show or this experience that I learned from last season, but just taking it on in life, is the communication aspect. Like that was missing last season. Like simply, it just wasn't there. And from night one, I tell all the women, like before we even really start the night, it's like, hey, we need to have an open line of communication, good or bad. Like it could be the worst news, but there shouldn't be any question marks between us or any guessing or any gray area. Like it should always be open and honest. So that is something that from the very beginning to the very end was very apparent. And I think that's just a key to having a healthy relationship.
Yeah, great. I mean, we saw that night one with Madison. It like you were open and honest with how you were feeling with her and would rather have not wasted her time anymore, or yours for that matter. So I feel like that was, yeah, it was cool to see. Do you look back on your experience at all and wish you could have done anything differently? Or do you kind of look back on it now and have no regrets?
I think everything happened for a reason. Now, did everything go perfect? No, absolutely not. Like no one is perfect, obviously, as cliche as that is, but you try to do the best you can and what feels right to you at those tough moments, and you make decisions. And yeah, I wouldn't trade anything. Things could have been handled better, that's for sure. But I think all of that really builds up to the end. And then, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Cool. And last but not least, can you give this season one word? As it like, if you could just give this season a word overarching theme that you can kind of tease us with, what word would that be?
Romantic.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love that. It's funny because Sean and Jesse both said we're like getting really back to the basics with the romance with the show. And so I love that.
And they're not wrong. I mean, I would say drama, but it's not like the drama that the show's seen in the past, which is a good thing. I think it's back to what is at the core, and that's the relationships.
Yeah, we are here for a good love story. Well, thank you, Zach. I'm really, really excited to see how it all unfolds, and I will be there in person and in spirit cheering you on Monday. So
awesome. Thanks, Danny. I'll see you then.
Congrats.